Hey, what's up guys? Today we are making shakshuka, an easy and delicious... I forgot to use a plate. Again. It's a good thing that my sponsor this week is Bounty Paper Towels. They're here to help me bring you some quick and easy recipes, quicker picker-upper style. Like my trusty sidekick, this shakshuka recipe is so quick you'll be cleaned up and chowing down in no time. Let's get down to basics. There are countless recipes for shakshuka out there hailing from nearly every culture and continent, but they all have one thing in common: tomatoes and eggs. Eggs that don't seem to want to be a good little egg and stand still for the camera. Come on, little guy, everybody's watching. There we go, good job. And as with most tomato-based sauces and stews, there's usually onions and garlic. Just about the only things that you're gonna have to demonstrate your knife skills on this morning. Just finely dice the onion and use the heel of your chef's knife to press down on the garlic cloves so it's easy to peel. Then you can either leave them whole, mince them, or press them through a garlic crusher. Dealer's choice. Now that all of our mise is decidedly en place, it's time to talk cookware. Most recipes and Instagram accounts reach for the cast iron skillet, but there is a problem. Anytime you stew something acidic, like tomatoes, for more than 20 or 30 minutes in a cast iron pan, it can leach metallic flavors into your stew. This is perfectly safe, but for the sake of your breakfast's flavor integrity, I suggest that you instead reach for the stainless steel skillet, which, while not being as pretty, is non-reactive and therefore will not affect the flavor of your tomats. So over on the stovetop in our stainless steel skillet, we are preheating a couple tablespoons of olive oil over medium heat, and once shimmering, tossing in maybe a quarter of our diced onion. We're going to sweat the onions, meaning saute over moderate heat for about 3 minutes until they begin to soften and turn translucent around the edges. Then we're going to add 2 or 3 cloves of garlic in the form factor of our choice, saute for an additional 30 seconds, and then it's time to quickly toast some spices. For this first batch, I'm going for a sort of North African Middle Eastern vibe, so in goes a teaspoon of ras al hanout, half a teaspoon of aleppo, and half a teaspoon of whole cumin seeds. We're toasting these guys together, removing from the heat if things get too hot, for about another 30 seconds or until very fragrant, before adding a 28-ounce can of fire-roasted crushed tomatoes. We'll bring that to a simmer, adding maybe a quarter teaspoon of cayenne pepper, a generous tablespoon or so of smoked paprika, and maybe a teaspoon and a half of Harissa paste. I also like to add about a half a cup of roasted red peppers. This brings a nice sweetness to the party. Now I know I'm getting fancy with the spices right now, and that's not very basic, so to speak, but there's a multitude of different spices and flavors that you can put in your shakshuka to determine its regionality. Once everybody's in the hot tub, it's time to bring the whole thing to a simmer, lower the heat, and let it bubble away for about 20 minutes so all the flavors get to know each other. Also, we want the sauce to reach a certain consistency. We want it to be thick enough that we can make little wells in which to crack our eggs. So using your stirring utensil or a large spoon, press some sort of little divots into your sauce and crack an egg inside. You can really crack as many eggs as you would like in there, or as many as will fit. I'm going with 5. And then I'm gently spooning the sauce up and around the whites of each egg to help them cook more evenly. Then I'm lowering the heat, making sure my lid is squeaky clean, covering and letting gently simmer without peaking for 5 minutes. This could take anywhere from 5 up to 12 minutes, but we're going to check for the first time after 5. Just look to see if your whites have set and give the eggs a little poke. You want the yolks to be totally runny and the egg whites to be just shy of where you eventually want them, because this is going to keep cooking off the heat. So take it off the stove, and then it's time to dress it up a little bit. The most common toppings for this variation are crumbled feta cheese, a little parsley or cilantro garnish, and then something decidedly uncommon, but something I like to do, is give it a drizzle of honey. This tomato sauce doesn't get cooked very long, and a little sweetness is a welcome addition. Then we are serving immediately with some toasted pita, or if you can't find pita, just some crusty bread. Give your yolks a poke to make sure that everybody's good and runny, and dig in. Overall, shakshuka takes about a half an hour to prepare. It's mostly pantry ingredients, it's great for a crowd, and it's very photogenic for all your social media needs. Oh, and of course it's totally delicious. And there are endless ways in which you can mix it up. How about an Italian-inspired shakshuka? For that, we're going to start by browning some spicy Italian sausage in a little bit of oil, crushing it up and sauteing over medium heat for 4 to 5 minutes until it's nicely browned and no longer pink in the middle. Set that aside, and this time we're sauteing the onions in all that nice sausage fat. Get those nice and soft and translucent, and then we're going to add the garlic, this time 5 whole crushed cloves, and how about a little handful of sun-dried tomatoes. You could also add oregano, anchovy paste, any number of red sauce staples. Saute those together until fragrant, and then we're adding 28 ounces of ideally crushed tomatoes, but if you don't have crushed tomatoes, you just gotta crush them yourself. And to continue treating this like an Italian red sauce, we're going to add a 1/4 cup of chopped fresh basil. Add the sausage back to the party, mix everybody up, and let them simmer for 20 to 30 minutes until the flavors have melded and it's reached the right consistency for egg depositure. Then I'm also going to add some chunks of whole milk, low moisture mozzarella. Lower the heat, cover, and stew, checking for egg consistency after 5 minutes and removing from the heat when nearly done. Serve immediately, garnish with some freshly grated Parmesan and fresh basil. And there you have it, another quick and delicious breakfast, this time inspired by Italian flavors. But what about a Mexican or Spanish-inspired shakshuka? Well, for that, swap out the Italian sausage for chorizo or merguez, add back the cumin and smoked paprika, garnish with some sliced jalapenos, some crumbled cotija or shredded manchego cheese, and if you really want to be authentic, some cilantro. Just make sure that you've washed and dried it first, both to remove any potential dirt or pesticides and to try to wash away the horrible cilantro flavor. Serve immediately with the usual crusty bread or a toasted tortilla. Just like the other variations, this is quick, easy, delicious, and pretty. And as you can see, there's a million different ways you can switch up the ingredients to suit your tastes or to celebrate regional flavors. Likewise, there's a million different ways that Bounty paper towels can help you in the kitchen. Thank you very much again to the Quicker Picker Upper for sponsoring this super quick and easy recipe. Stay tuned for next week when I'll be bringing you another quick recipe for French toast, once again with the help of my trusty kitchen tool. I'm proud to partner with Bounty, who, together with Feeding America, is helping to provide 10 million meals to people in need. Head to the link in the description for more info.